All right.
So we're streaming right now. Do I have to refresh this, or is it going to come on automatically? I wonder.
Should come on automatically, and they're gonna see us talking on it. So, might as well stay ready to start now.
So we're actually streaming right now.
We're streaming live. We're ready to go. Ready to start
okay,
the show.
We're ready to go. Okay, so showtime.
It is showtime.
Okay, welcome to Our Take Live, and once again, I'm David Gyro,
and I'm Timmy Gyro.
And we have a very special edition today. We're broadcasting earlier than normal. Normally, we've been broadcasting like between 12 midnight and 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning when we get to time and everything. So now we can get this out of the way so it doesn't distract us.
Oh, yeah.
So now we have a very special program, and we're going to offer live calls today to see if you want to call in and chime in on what we're talking about and everything. So today's episode is domestic abuse. Okay, so the reason that we decided to do this show is I had 2 encounters over the past week, really the same day, having to do with domestic abuse. So I've been in contact with 2 people who are being abused in a relationship. So what we want to do right now is we want to talk about domestic abuse and how you can get help, how you can recognize if you're being abused. Because let's face it, a lot of people don't even know they're being abused. And so we're not really talking about necessarily physical abuse, although that mostly is what the problem is physical abuse. But we also talk about emotional abuse and psychological abuse. And that's where it plays into where you don't even know this person has you under their spell so bad you don't even know that you're being abused. So how can you even get out of a situation if you don't even know that you're being abused?
Yeah, I know a lot of people. You hear a lot of people say, "Well, just leave the person." And you know what? Unless you're in their shoes, it's really not that easy just to say leave the person. I know, like I said, the spell. You know,
right.
There's some kind of spell.
Exactly. So what I want to do right now is we want to help you guys out. Statistics show, you can look this up online, statistics show that 85% of people that are abused are females, and about roughly 15% of those that are abused are males. So it does run on both sides of the spectrum. It runs about males can be victims and females can be victims also. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and let's define the term domestic abuse so we'll even know what we're talking about. So I do have domestic abuse pulled up right here.
Domestic abuse.
And so domestic abuse, according to Wikipedia, and also some dictionaries and other sites that help people out, help people out with domestic abuse. Domestic abuse, we can also call it spousal abuse, intimate partner violence, battering, or family violence. It's a pattern of behavior which involves violence or other abuse by one person against another in a domestic setting, such as a marriage or cohabitation. Now, from some of the research that I've done, and even some of the personal encounters I've had with people who have been abused, mostly abuse occurs in a long-term relationship.
It's not like something you just get into and you experience abuse. It has to happen over a period of time, I believe.
Exactly. So, and not necessarily that person being married, but cohabitating, just two people that are living with each other. They've developed a long-term relationship, intimate relationship, and so there's a pattern of abuse. A lot of times it starts off kind of well into the marriage or well into the relationship. This person has had abusive tendencies all of their life because of what's happened to their past. We're going to go over that too, but really those patterns of abuse a lot of times start kind of far into the relationship itself. So they don't really manifest themselves all the time right off the bat whenever 2 people meet each other and start getting intimate with each other. So a lot of times what it takes it's going to take a lot for you to snap out of your reality. If you're the one that's being abused, I want to address you right now. And first of all, there is help. And but the main thing that you have to do is you have to realize that you are being abused, right?
You have to realize it. You have to come to your self-realization that, hey, I'm being abused and I need to get out of this. Because you're not going to get out of it if you're stuck under that spell. If you're stuck under that, there's no way that you're going to be able to get out of it because you're basically trapped in a box. You're basically enclosed in a jail cell within your own mind.
Exactly. Right. That's right. So a lot of times what it takes, for some of the people that I've talked to, it takes one event to happen. And that's the straw that breaks the camel's back pretty much. And that one event usually is a very violent event, and it's a wake-up call. That person will get like the mess beat out of them, or something will happen. They'll get hit real hard, and really, metaphorically speaking, they'll knock some sense into them, I guess you could say.
Yeah, actually knock. Like I said, it's so hard, they'll actually come to the realization, whoa.
Right.
This is not right.
And we're laughing about it, but but really, that one event is sometimes what it takes for you to realize that you are being abused. I'm talking to you people out there that are being abused, men or women, mostly women, but some men. you have to come to that realization that look at the past, look at the pattern of behavior that your spouse or your significant other, or unsignificant other, I should say, has been treating you over the period of days, months, or years. Okay, so you have to realize that there is help for you. And a lot of people will ask, well, if that person is, being abused, why don't they just leave, get out the situation? Well, it's not that hard, is it?
Nope. And on the subject of they need help to get help. Both people need help.
Right.
The guy needs help, or I mean the person the abuser needs help, and the person being abused needs help. They both need help.
Right.
Because you know what? If the guy who's abusing her had help, he probably would have never done it in the first place.
True.
If yeah.
And we're not condoning violence or abuse by any means, but I can tell you, probably vast majority of the people that are abusive, they have had this happen to them in their younger days. They have been sexually abused, mentally, physically abused, and they're just passing the baton from one generation to another, pretty much. So, it's up to you. If you're the one that's being abused right now, it really rests on your back. You can stop this cycle of abuse and violence. You can stop it with you. And if you let it keep on going, and if you do nothing about it, it's going to continue. And the ultimate end result of all abuse is what? Death. Abuse always, or most always, climaxes at death. I mean, that's what it's leading up to.
There's a breaking point, man. There's a breaking point. There's a point where it gets so overwhelming that there's just nothing else left.
Absolutely right.
It comes to that point.
It's never going to get better, guys and girls.
Nope.
It's never going to get better.
And that's something that you always be putting in your head. I know I've had friends before they've been abused, and people always say it's going to get better. You always think in your head it's going to get better one day, but it's not. Right. It'll never get better.
Right. And what winds up happening is it's such a psychological thing mainly. The physical abuse is something you can see. If you're physically abused, you can see that. You can see the bruises, see the cuts. Yeah. The main part and the most overwhelming part is the psychological abuse, things that you can't see, and that's attitudes that you develop being an abused person. And really, what those attitudes that appear in you as an abused person is that you are the problem, you are the cause of everything. It's your fault. Everything rests on you. You're the problem while you're getting beat up, while you're getting abused. Yep. It's something that you did. That's what this person is going to try to make you believe. Either through his actions or his words. And I've seen all kind of stuff where people that have been abused, I mean, they have had guns held to their head, loaded guns held to their head, knives to their throat. These are all threats of violence. Okay, so it winds up being threats, but it ultimately ends in death. It really does, and that death may even be suicide. I mean, you may get to such a low point in your life where you think you're the victim that you commit suicide, or you definitely have suicidal tendencies, right? So what I want to do is I want to go over right now some of the red flags of abuse. Let's go over some things that you can be on the lookout for in your feelings, your emotions, and your relationships and everything. So this is some red flags to look for an abuser, somebody that's going to potentially abuse you, or somebody that is abusing you. And I want to speak also right now to the people who are just now getting into new relationships, right?
That is something we want to speak to is,
Right, so people that are getting into new relationships, because now we can really cut this thing off at the head early. We want to try to, for you guys that are just now getting to relationships, and they may be good relationships.
Yeah, it may be good. Like I said, everything starts out good.
Right.
It don't always end. Sometimes, most of the times, don't always end good.
Right. You may be starting off into a relationship, and it may be the best relationship. You may wind up getting married and living happily ever after. That may be great. But the person that you just got into a relationship with may be an abuser, and you don't really know it yet. So let's go ahead and try to
point out some of the
things. You want to read a couple of them? We'll go over them.
First one is, one of the first ones is, wants to move too quickly in a relationship.
You want to expound upon that?
I'll expound upon them all. Someone who wants to, rush things, like maybe that could be sex, that could be kissing, that could be anything. That could be just, want to take it to the next level, saying I love you too quickly.
Right.
Because, I've seen it time and time again, a guy says, well, let's just do this right quick. Come on, I love you. And then the girl doesn't want to do it. He gets mad at her.
Right.
And he says, well, you don't want to do it, and starts beating up on her, starts abusing her.
Exactly.
So, second one is...
Well, real quickly, I want to expound upon the first one. Wants to move too quickly. Can you put that graphic on the screen so they can see it real quick?
Yeah, exactly.
So wants to move too quickly into a relationship. There is another rationale behind that, and that is because they want to control you. If they can move quickly into the relationship and have you be their significant other, then in other words, you belong to them in a certain aspect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next one.
The next one is honor your boundary. Does not honor your boundaries. Does not honor your space. Just like I was saying, having sex.
Yeah, switch back to our live feed.
Just like I was saying earlier about someone who wants to have sex too quickly. Someone who just doesn't give you your personal space.
Exactly.
Does not honor. Does not say, well, I don't want to do this. I'm not comfortable. Please don't get so close to me. Does not. That's a red flag right there.
Exactly. And,
That's a big red flag.
and many boundaries. There are boundaries that you should have as a spouse
Exactly.
or as a person in a relationship. You should have definitely should have boundaries. I mean, no relationship that's just starting should just have anything goes. That's a recipe for disaster right there. And you're really going to get yourself into a lot of trouble if anything goes in your relationship. You have to have boundaries, and it's really up to you to decide what those boundaries are. But we always go to biblical boundaries. I'll have to say, we go to our biblical boundaries, and that is no sex before marriage is another big thing too. So does not honor your boundaries. Let your boundaries be made known. If you don't want to be even alone with this person, I would suggest that you go out with some friends or whatever as in a new relationship, and just be seen in public with this person that you're being with. Don't keep it a secret. So let's go to the next one, Tim.
And the next one is excessively jealous. Is excessively jealous and accuses you of having affairs. Now this is a kind of tricky one because you just never know. I mean, you never know, but I can see where it says excessively. It doesn't say is jealous sometimes, because everybody gets a little jealous sometimes, but it says excessively jealous.
Right.
Which is
Right. And that's that goes beyond the bounds of just like I want you for myself, or whatever. I just want it to be a mutual relationship between me and you. But it's like excessively jealous, and that could even be calling you all the time. You go to the store to get groceries. Where you at? Where you at? You've been gone for like 20 minutes. Who you with right now? Even accusing you of being with somebody when you're not. And I find that. Look, let me tell you. After dealing with being on the ambulance and dealing with people for 25 plus years. I've seen a lot of this stuff firsthand. I mean, I've been with people who have jealous spouses, and they will blow that telephone up, blow that cell phone up, and they will. But what I found out is a lot of people that are excessively jealous are accusing you of having an affair. They're doing it.
They're the ones having one.
Exactly.
Whenever someone gets mad at you, it's usually back on. You got to spin it back on them. It's usually
Yep, that's it.
We'll go to the next one.
Yep, go to the next one.
The next one is going to be. Wants to know where you are all the time and frequently calls you, emails, and texts you throughout the day. Right. That's kind of like, how exactly do I put that? Just kind of, oh man, I don't know the word for it, but just like, man, it's so attached to you.
Right.
Like, you gotta give, like I said, that goes back to does not honor your boundaries. Give me some personal space, man.
Right.
Don't talk. You call me and text me 24/7. Actually, and I've been in a relationship before where the person has called me and texted me 24/7, and if I don't answer their text within 5 minutes later, figuratively speaking. Right. They will blow up my phone. They will be like, do you not love me anymore? And stuff. That's just like, you got to watch out.
Definitely. And that really kind of goes in hand with the previous one is excessively jealous and accuses you of having affairs. And so, therefore, they will call you, email you, text you all throughout the day, want to know where you are and everything.
That goes with both of them. Does not honor your boundaries and excessively jealous. That points back to both of them.
It does. And keep in mind, if you just tuned in live on Channel 13 on Fidelity, we're talking about domestic abuse and violence. And we're talking about right now some of the attributes to look for in an abuser in the relationship. All right, so this is another really, really common one right here. Go to this one here.
Criticizes you or puts you down. Most commonly tells you you're crazy, stupid, and or fat, and that no one would ever want to love you. Now, there's tons of other hate words we could use, but these are, I guess, the most common ones that they find because it's on the website. Mm-hmm. So expound upon that one.
Yeah. We believe that everybody is beautiful. They're creations of God. Okay.
Nobody's ugly.
Yeah. Like we always say when we're doing weddings, there's no. All brides are beautiful. No matter how big, how skinny they are, whatever. All brides are beautiful. Okay. So all human beings are beautiful in their own aspect. They're all creations of God. And for some other person, especially a person that wants to be in a relationship with you,
exactly.
If they are degrading you, calling you stupid, fat, and everything, and they're excessively jealous of you, that is a big red flag.
Yeah, why would you even want to be with someone who's gonna do just like degrade you and just
exactly? I want to suggest a boundary for you to put up right when you get into a relationship, and even if you are in an advanced relationship right now, put this boundary up right here, and and that is like you can even have a 1 strike and you're out, or 2 strikes, but never 3 strikes and you're out. Set your boundaries, and if this person violates some really, really deeply held values that you have, make them known. Like for instance, hitting or slapping or whatever. The first time that you ever slapped me across my face or hitting my head up against the wall, that's it. We're done. We're done. There's no second chances. I'm sorry. If you show one sign of extreme physical abuse or really any physical abuse, we're done.
That's just it. And that goes like, I mean, this is from my point of view. I believe everyone deserves second chances. But when you're physically, and you're like what we talk about here, physically beating someone up and just all this bad stuff, there's no excuse for that.
No, there's
that
not.
is not a second
There's
chance
not.
deserved.
There's not. There's
No.
not. And I'm gonna talk to the abuser right now. Okay, so without trying to get too upset or whatever, you have no business. Whether this person is your wife or girlfriend or casual friend, you have no business laying a hand on that person and showing violence over that person, hitting that person, slapping them, or that you have no reason doing that whatsoever at all. And if the person that's being abused, if somebody does this to you, you are not the victim. You're not, you're innocent. You're totally innocent no matter what you do. Nothing deserves for you to be hit or slapped or punched.
Yeah,
or
nothing you
anything.
could have done, nothing you do ever deserves for someone to physically hit you.
No, not at all. Not
Nothing.
at all. And some people even go as far as to do this in public. A lot of this stuff happens in private, but I've seen some abusive situations where it's happened in public. It's got that bad.
Man, that is just like,
So
that's really bad when you get taken out the public.
Right.
That is really
Right.
bad.
And anybody that's going to sit here and abuse, physically abuse a woman, you are a piece of filth. And I'll tell you that to your face right now. And you need serious, serious help, and you need to stop it right now. Okay? Because more and more people are being empowered these days. Our Second Amendment rights, and more women are carrying guns, they're carrying pepper spray, they're defending themselves and everything. And you may be abusing a woman right now, and one day that woman's she's gonna have enough of it, and she's gonna be carrying a gun or a knife or whatever, and you're gonna find yourself seriously injured or killed, and you'll deserve everything that you get for abusing that woman. And there's no reason there's nothing to condone what you're doing because it happened to you as a child. I was abused as a child.
That don't mean nothing.
No.
And you know what? Let me talk to the person being abused for a second. You know what? It does get better, and there is a way out. But guess what? It starts with you.
It does.
It starts with you.
It does.
There's no way out of this. I'll put it this way. No one can fix your problems. No one can get out of this for you.
Right.
You have to get out of it yourself. And
Right.
I know it's not easy. I do know that. I understand that.
It is. But you have to well up with courage, and you have to just do it in your heart, what you know is right, because you, the abusee, are going to be the ultimate victim when you die from abuse. That's what it all leads up to. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. I'll say this one. It's this person says one thing and he does another. That's a pretty subtle form of abuse. Says one thing and does another. This is some of the light things are leading up to more heavy things. The next one is he takes no responsibility for his behavior and he blames others. He has a history of battering. This goes by, we kind of got ahead of ourselves, but this person is going to blame his dad for beating him, and he just can't help it. He has to just do what has been done to him. There's no excuse.
There's
for that.
no excuse. I don't think. You know what? I really don't. I don't agree with that. I don't believe that at all. That's not. It's not like because you know what? I don't feel. You know what? I'm so. Maybe I feel sorry for you in a sense of you got abused when you were a kid, because you know what? That no one wants that to happen.
Right.
But I don't feel sorry for you if you're going to use that as a scapegoat to try and make try and make things better and say, well, I have an excuse.
Right.
This is my excuse to do that.
Right.
There's no excuse.
Exactly. Next one, blames the entire failure of his previous relationships on their partner. For example, my ex was a total B, and we see that a lot too, especially in second, third, fourth, fifth marriages, or second, third, fourth, fifth relationships. You see that a whole lot where they're going to bring their past relationships up into your relationship,
Yeah, exactly.
and tell you what a bad person the other person was. Just be on the watch out for that also too.
This is a common one.
Yeah.
This right here, we just talked about this. This is a very common one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Grew up in an abusive or violent home.
That is so prevalent these days.
I know, it's just everywhere. That is so common.
Prevalent. I'll say 80% of the kids.
Dad, you've been working on animals for 25 years, plus 25 years. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, you've seen this before.
Oh yeah, the sexual abuse is so rampant. Physical abuse,
Gosh.
and we're talking about mainly adults right here, but we can talk about children too, because children can be abused also. We'll do maybe do a show on that in the future.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing in itself.
Yeah, although we will touch on some underage abuse going on because I've seen that too in the past
Yeah.
week. But yeah, a group in an abusive or violent home, and that does go with the kids right now because one day these kids are going to be adults,
Exactly.
and they're going to take everything that's been done. If they've been shown love in their relationship, they're going to pass love on to the next relationship. And when they get older, if they've been shown hate and abuse and neglect in the relationship,
they're gonna pass that on.
they're going to pass
That's
it on when they get older. So, and once again, I'm going to talk to the abusers. Okay, if you are sitting here abusing a young child right now, physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, psychologically abusing
You
this
are
child,
a scumbag.
first of all, you're a scumbag. That's true too. But
I'm sorry.
you need to
You
realize, and you need to think about the lives that you're affecting. You're not
Yep.
affecting right now in this moment this young child's life. You're affecting this child's future wife, this child's future children, and everybody that this child comes in contact with. Even at a young age, they're going to come in contact with other people where they might want to try sexual things that are perverted sexual things at a young age because what they saw with you. They're going to, we see this a lot in children abusing animals and pulling the wings off of insects and flies and stuff like that. That's where it starts. Abuse starts even with a 5 or 6 year old who wants to kick a little puppy or throw a cat around or whatever, or make two animals fight. That's severe, serious signs of abuse that only gets worse when it translates into the relationship with another human being. Okay, so growing up in an abusive or violent home, that's really, really where it all starts. Because children, when they grow up, they don't know anything about abuse. All they know is how to show love, unless you as a parent show them. Okay, next. Insist that you stop spending time with your friends or family. This goes along with severe jealousy in a relationship. This abusive person is going to be extremely jealous of you. They don't want you talking to your mom, going to your mom's house, your dad's
That's
house.
my mom for crying out loud. You gotta be really jealous to I mean, like, geez.
Right. Definitely.
Wow, that's my
Definitely.
Parents. They gave birth to me.
Definitely. Switch. Insist that you stop spending time. I'm sorry. Seems too good to be true is the next one.
Seems too good to be true.
And what do we say? If it's too good to be true,
it's probably not.
It probably isn't true. Right. So if this person is just like Romeo and he's like Prince Charming, he comes into your life.
Yep.
He just talks a good talk, but he doesn't walk a good walk.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to just kind of elaborate on that. If you get into a relationship and everything's like peaches and cream when you first start out the relationship and everything's just like it's too good to be true. Like wow, he's buying you all this stuff, he's doing all this. I don't know. You gotta watch out.
Right.
You really need to watch out.
Right. It's really deceptive because on the one hand, it can be too good to be true. There are a few good men out there and good women for that matter that will treat you like a queen or king and really, really just do everything they can for you, especially early in a relationship. Sometimes those things kind of fade off as we get older, and we got to kind of spark them up a little bit. But if this person is just over the top, that's really kind of a sign of jealousy in the making, pretty much. If he does so much to try to keep you, just for his own purposes or whatever. Okay, so insist that you stop participating in leisure interests. We all have to have hobbies in our life to keep sane. We all have to do something besides work for leisure activities and everything. Hopefully you can involve your significant other in your leisure activities, in your hobbies and everything. But if he wants you to stop doing those things that really give you joy in life and steer him toward you mainly and away from the things that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, kind of like, I want you to stop going to church every Sunday, or I want you to stop, you take pictures too much. You go out and take pictures too much. Or you do
Right.
this. You go out and,
Right.
you work on that car too much, or
Right.
something like that,
Right. Yeah. And here's another very, very common one.
This is the last one, and this one right here is very common.
Yes, rage is out of control and
Very
is
common.
impulsive. This is a very, very serious red
Oh,
flag that you have to really be on the lookout for. And once again, this is something that's just like, no pun intended, in your face, but it can be the most, the most sly and subtle thing. Even though you're being confronted with a person who rages out of control. I've seen it myself. Boom, hits walls, putting holes in walls. I've been in houses before where I saw little round holes all in walls. That's a fist going through a wall.
Oh yeah, it's
And
a fist.
walls are made out of sheetrock, so it's really easy to,
Yeah, to bust a hole through it.
I've responded to calls where people had broken hands from hitting stuff, our cuts from hitting their hand through our glasses and everything. Okay, so if we want to, if you're watching live on Fidelity 13, you can watch it live on YouTube. You can go to our David K. Gyro Facebook page or Point Capee Community Access Media Facebook page.
Feel free to call in.
Call in right
leave
now.
Your comments.
Call in right now.
If you want to talk to us.
If you've been abused and you want to talk about it, we won't give your name or anything over the air. Let's talk about. You may have some tips that you may want to give other people to help them out and everything. And call in and leave your comments. We can put you live on the air, or you can text us if you want at this number. Just text us.
Even if you haven't been abused, even if you just want to call in and talk about it and explain how you think you might be able to help people.
Sure, absolutely.
Call in. Anyone's welcome to call in.
Yeah, that's area code 225-240-0490. Once again, 225-240-0490. Call in and leave your comments and or questions, and we'll get to you on the air. And then, because no doubt you can help somebody out there that we can't help. We're just giving some information right now. If you've been through this stuff firsthand, then you can definitely be more, a more, I don't want to say credible, but you can be a more convincing help to a person or whatever. So that's pretty much it for the red flags. And let's go back to our outline right here. And we're going to wrap this thing up within the next 15 or 20 minutes or so.
Right.
But we do want you to call or text or leave a comment on Facebook, Point Capee Community Access Media, or David K. Gyro Facebook. And just leave some comments or give us a call. Okay, let's go back to our list.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get this right quick.
And we want to give you some help. Okay, so what can you do if you're being abused? Okay, so we talked about all the bad stuff and everything. Let's talk about what you can do if you need help. First of all, if you're affiliated with the church, I have to go with a pastor or a priest or somebody like that. A lot of times you want to go talk to somebody who doesn't even know you personally. And a lot of times your pastor or your priest knows you personally. And that's not a problem. If you don't want your business to be made known with people who know you,
honestly, this is coming from my point of view. I kind of find it easier to talk to someone who doesn't really know me personally. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people find it easier to talk to someone like that.
That's true too. That's true too. Right. Pay attention to the red flags and trust your instincts. Survivors of domestic violence frequently report that their instincts told them there was something wrong early on, but they disregarded their warning and signs and didn't know that these signs were indicative of an abusive relationship. Always take time to get to know a potential partner and watch for patterns of behavior in a variety of settings. Keeping in touch with your support system, have a good support system, and participating in good self-care can lower your risk of being involved in an abusive relationship. So, be on the lookout. Use your common sense. Think with your head a lot of times too, rather than with your heart. Also, just your heart. Also, if you're in Louisiana right now and you don't want to talk to somebody local in your area, let's get this number out. It's 1-888-411-1333. That's a Louisiana statewide hotline for domestic abuse. 1-888-411-1333. And we're going to put this in the links below on YouTube. It's free, confidential, 24 hours.